It is Sunday. You know what that means? Food prep day. Yeah. Hey dudes and girls, in this video I'm going to be lining out my weekly food preparation. The food, how I prepare it, the calories, and also the macronutrients. Now food preparation can be an integral part of staying strict on an eating schedule. Now there's been times in the past where I've been pretty damn strict with my food preparation and other times where I've been pretty lax about it. And I have to be honest, when I'm strict with my food preparation, that's when I get the best results. So let's go over some of the tools that you'll need to make your food prep that much easier. First things first is gonna be the containers. We like to go with glass. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're sturdy, they keep food really well, and they last a long time. Some people will go with plastic, and yes, it's pretty cheap, but I personally don't really feel good in keeping food for long periods of time in it or reheating food in it. I would rather spend a little bit more money and have a better product that's gonna last a lot longer. Next up is gonna be the food scale. Now this is probably one of the most important tools and the most useful ones that you're gonna be using time and time again, because with every meal you're gonna be weighing out your portions to be able to put it in your containers, and weighing them out is really gonna make sure that you're getting the proper amounts of calories and macronutrients in every single meal. So you're gonna be going back to the food scale over and over again to make sure your portion sizes are correct. Now last but certainly not least is gonna be the food, and we're pretty big advocates of keeping it simple. So we'll stick with things like rice, oats, fruits, vegetables, and different kinds of meats. So first off, I'm gonna be preparing the breakfast I'm gonna be having all week, which is gonna be overnight oats. Probably one of the best and easiest breakfasts that can be prepared and kept in the fridge. It's delicious, the macros are awesome, and a pretty good amount of calories too to help you start the day. So now it's time to see how easy it is to make the overnight oats. We laid out all the ingredients and also the mason jars that we'll be using, so that way it's gonna be easy to make one right after the other, like an assembly line. So you're gonna take your mason jar, and I usually like to start with the oats. We're gonna do 1 cup. And it's easy if you have kind of like a wide mouth funnel here. You're gonna pour it right in. There we go. Moving right on to the cup of fat-free milk. Get another funnel. Pour it right in. Boom. Next is going to be the 3/4 a cup of Greek yogurt. Okay. What's missing? It is the 1 scoop of chocolate protein. You can use chocolate, you can use vanilla, you can really use any flavor you want. Close it nice and tight and shake it up a bit. Of course, when you're trying to stay strict with your calories, your macros, it's usually a good idea to know exactly what's in every single container. That way you don't really have to think about it. You pull it out, you eat it, and you're taken care of. And you really don't have to even worry about tracking it after that, because every meal is set out before you and there's no thinking. So that's what's nice about that. And as you can tell, our overnight oats is predominantly carbohydrate and protein based. There's not a lot of fats in it, but of course, if your macronutrient percentages change, if you're doing a little bit more fat based than carb based, then what you do is have a little bit less oats, maybe add some peanut butter, some chia seeds, hemp seeds, whatever it is, to add a little extra fat, especially from healthy sources like that. So it is very adjustable, and as you can see, it's very easy and fast. And once you make all of them, you're gonna put them in the fridge. They're all ready for you for every single morning of the week. Yeah. Now that we have breakfast done, it's time to start working on lunch. And we're gonna start off by cooking the chicken tenderloins. We had them thaw overnight in the refrigerator, so they're ready to go. And we're gonna just place them in the slow cooker, put a little hot sauce on them, put a little bone broth to give it a little flavor, give it a little kick. And we're gonna just put it on high for 4 hours and let it sit. Now lunch is predominantly going to be protein and carbohydrate base. Later, we're going to be cooking some rice and also some broccoli, but we're just going to let the chicken cook for a while before we start the rice and broccoli, so we can pretty much time it where they all finish together. All the chicken is in the slow cooker. We have 4 hours, so we're going to get it worked out. Workout is done. We hit some arms, bis, tris, a little bit of the lateral deltoid. But you know what? I'm getting damn hungry and I can smell that food cooking from upstairs. So we're gonna go check on the food and see if it's ready.
I can't wait.
Just checked the chicken tenders and it looks like they're pretty close to being finished. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and start the rice. Now I'm gonna do 4 cups of dried rice on the stove here. And thankfully rice is very easy to cook. You add the rice, you add the water, bring it to boil, and then bring it down to a simmer and let it sit. And I think it's around 25 minutes or so. And by the time that's getting close to being done, I'm gonna start the broccoli. And I'm just using some frozen broccoli that I'm gonna throw on the stovetop here in the skillet. And I'm just gonna cook in a little bit of water, bring it to a boil, and then turn the temperature down a little bit so it cooks. And that only takes around maybe 10 minutes or so. All right, the rice is done, the broccoli is done, and the chicken is done. So we're gonna be taking all 3 of these and portioning them out, putting them in the Tupperware. But first we gotta weigh them out to make sure all of our portions are correct. Weighing out the meat now, and a lot of people would probably recommend that you weigh your meat before you cook it, because as you cook it, it loses 25% of its mass and throws off the nutritional facts quite a bit. But thankfully with some simple math, you can figure it out really quickly. So for instance, I'm weighing out 7 ounces of cooked chicken, and that actually equals 9.3 ounces of uncooked chicken. So the nutrition of the 7 ounces actually equals the 9.3 ounces of uncooked. So it sounds kind of funny, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it can make things pretty easy. But if you don't want to do any math, well, just make sure you weigh your meat before you cook it, and that's the true nutritional facts. After that, we're gonna be adding 1 cup of the rice, 1 cup of the broccoli. We're gonna snap that lid on and throw it in the refrigerator, and that takes care of lunch. Lunches are in the fridge, and now it's time to start making the dinner meals. We're gonna be cooking up the ground beef. We have more than enough rice left, which we're gonna be using for our dinners, and we're gonna be cooking up some green beans for our vegetables. You know, it really puts things in perspective when you cook all your meals at one time. You see the volume of meat, rice, veggies, you know, kind of whatever you prepare. You see all of it done at once and you're like, wow, I'm eating all that? That looks like a lot. So all the meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner are done, and it only took us a little over 6 hours to complete, and that's not too bad when you're thinking about fixing all your meals for the week. But unfortunately, that doesn't take care of all of our calories and macro needs, so we need to fill in the gaps, and we're gonna be doing that with some snacks. So we're heading to the store now to go shopping. So as you can see, there's a lot of different selections of protein powders. Now, I'll usually have a protein shake after my workout, and I'll mix it with milk, so that bumps up my protein quite a bit, as well as my carbohydrates from the sugars in the milk. But protein's pretty useful too, because you can use it in a lot of different recipes like we did in the overnight oats. Fruit is another easy way of getting a lot of carbohydrates in. I'll usually go for bananas, apples, or blueberries. Now you can add them to different recipes like the overnight oats, or you can have them on your own. And what you really want to concentrate on these snacks is individualized macronutrients. So with bananas, predominantly just carbohydrates, and that's what you really want to stick with, so that way you can kind of cherry pick which snacks are really going to cater to what macros you need. Nuts are a very healthy source of fat, and they can very easily be taken on the go, which pays off. So you just portion out the serving size, you can put them in a little plastic bag or container, you can have them anytime. Make sure you're always getting your healthy fats in. Peanut butter is another one of my favorite snacks. You can add it to a lot of recipes, or you can spread it on some rice cakes or on your banana. Kind of depends on what you want, but it's a very delicious, healthy source of fat. It also has a little bit of protein and some carbohydrates, but really try to avoid the ones with too many added sugars. Good old rice cakes, an easy and quick and delicious source of carbohydrates. I'll usually grab a few packs of these so I can have carbohydrates on the go, or if I want some carbs and fat, I can spread a little bit of peanut butter on them, and it is absolutely delicious. So these are some of my go-to favorite snacks, and as you can see, I keep it pretty simple, and it just makes that much easier to always hit my calories and macros every day. So there we go, we have all the meals and now we have all the snacks. It's time to put it all together. First things first, let's go with breakfast. That's gonna be the overnight oats, and it's clocking in, it's 600 calories with 74 grams of carbohydrates, 6.5 grams of fat, and 62 grams of protein. Next up would be my post-workout protein shake, which would be 2 cups of fat-free milk and 2 scoops of protein powder, which is of course a lot of protein and some carbohydrates from the sugars in the milk. Next meal would be lunch, and that's clocking in at 566 calories with 51 grams of carbohydrates, 7.4 grams of fat, and 62 grams of protein. Then I would have a little snack between lunch and dinner, which would be 3 rice cakes to get my carbs a little bit higher. And the next major meal would be dinner, which clocking in at 794 calories with 52 grams of carbohydrates, 39.7 grams of fat, and 54.7 grams of protein. After all my major meals, my last snack of the day would be some 0% Greek yogurt with 1 serving of peanut butter to round everything out. And it looks like that takes me pretty damn close to my perfect calories. It went over a little bit, but it looks like my macros fell in perfectly with 35% carbohydrates, 25% fats, and 40% protein. So I think we did a good job. Now it's time to eat all this food. I just want to say a huge thank you to ButcherBox for making this video happen. Make sure you click the link below in our description to get a free turkey. Now, new members will get a free turkey on their first order when they sign up with ButcherBox. And this ain't no small turkey. This is a buff dude sized turkey. Although, I'm probably gonna eat this on my own. And hey, I did the math and I'm saving over $100 a month with ButcherBox. And I know a lot of people are making that grocery run this week, so you should give ButcherBox a try. And if you do, well, let them know the buff dude sent you. Yeah.